We're gonna continue reading out of the book Wisdom of Solomon. It's one of the extra books that are in this edition that I have in this Bible. Yesterday I read chapters 1 through 5, and today we'll begin with 6 and try to get as far as we can. There's only 19 chapters, but I think I'm just a slow reader. So here we go. Hear therefore, O ye kings, and understand, learn, ye that be judges of the ends of the earth, give ear, ye that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations. For power is given you of Yahweh, and sovereignty from El Elyon, who shall try your works and search out your counsels, because being ministers of his kingdom, ye have not judged aright, nor kept the Torah, nor walked after the counsel of Elohim. Horribly and speedily shall he come unto you, for a sharp judgment shall be to them that be in high places. For mercy will soon pardon the meanest, but mighty men shall be mightily tormented. For he which is Yahweh over all shall fear no man's person, neither shall he stand in awe of any man's greatness. For he has made the small and great, and cares for all alike. But a sore trial shall come upon the mighty. Unto you therefore, O kings, do I speak, that ye may learn wisdom and not fall away. For they that guard holiness purely shall be judged holy, and they that have learned such things shall find what to answer. Therefore set your affections upon my words, desire them, and ye shall be instructed. Wisdom is glorious and never fades away. Yea, she is easily seen of them that love her, and found of such as seek her. She prevents them that desire her, in making herself first known unto them. Whoso seeks her early shall have no great travail, for he shall find her sitting at his doors. To think therefore upon her is perfection of wisdom, and whoso watches for her shall quickly be without care, for she goes about seeking such as are worthy of her, shows herself favorably unto them in the ways, and meets them in every thought. For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love, and love is the keeping of her Torah, and the giving heed unto her Torah is the assurance of incorruption, and incorruption makes us near unto Elohim. Therefore the desire of wisdom brings to a kingdom. In your delight be then in thrones and scepters, O ye kings of the people. Honor wisdom, that ye may reign forevermore. As for wisdom, what is she, and how she came up? I will tell you, and will not hide mysteries from you, but will seek her out from the beginning of her nativity, and bring the knowledge of her into light, and will not pass over the Torah, neither will I go with consuming envy, for such a man shall have no fellowship with wisdom. But the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world, and a wise king is the upholding of the people. Receive therefore instruction through my words, and it shall do you good. I myself also am a mortal man, like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth, and in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months. being compacted in blood of the seed of man and the pleasure that came with sleep. And when I was born, I grew into the common air and fell upon the earth, which is of like nature. And the first voice which I uttered was crying, as all others do. I was nursed in swaddling clothes, and that with cares. For there is no king that had any other beginning of birth. For all men have one entrance into life, and they like going out. Wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me. I called upon Elohim, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. I preferred her before scepters and thrones, and esteemed riches nothing in comparison of her. Neither compared I unto her any precious stone, because all gold in respect of her is as a little sand, and silver shall be counted as clay before her. I loved her above health and beauty, and chose to have her instead of light, for the light that comes from her never goes out. All good things together came to me with her, and innumerable riches in her hands. And I rejoiced in them all, because wisdom goes before them, and I knew not that she was the mother of them. I learned diligently, and do communicate her liberally. I do not hide her riches, for she is a treasure unto men that never fails, which they that use become the friends of Elohim, being commended for the gifts that come from learning. Elohim has granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as is meet for the things that are given me, because it is he who leads unto wisdom and directs the wise. For in his hand are both we and our words, all wisdom also and knowledge of workmanship. For he has given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely, to know how the world was made, and the operation of the elements, the beginning, ending, and midst of time, the alterations of the turning of the sun, and the change of seasons, the circuits of years, and the positions of stars, the natures of living creatures, and the furies of wild beasts, the violence of winds, and the reasonings of men, the diversities of plants, and the virtues of roots, and all such things are as either secret or manifest, those I know. For wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me, for in her is an understanding spirit, holy, one only, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt, loving the thing that is good quick, which cannot be lent, ready to do good, kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all understanding, pure and most subtle spirits. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passes and goes through all things by reason of her pureness, for she is the breath of the power of Elohim, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of El Shaddai. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her, for she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of Elohim, and the image of his goodness. And being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself, she makes all things new. And in all ages entering into holy souls, she makes them friends with Elohim and prophets. For Elohim loves none but him that dwells with wisdom, for she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all the orders of stars, being compared with the light, she is found before it. For after this comes night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom. Wisdom reaches from one end to another mightily, and sweetly she orders all things. I loved her and sought her out from my youth. I desired to make her my spouse, and I was a lover of her beauty, in that she is conversant with Elohim. She magnifies her nobility. Yeah, Yahweh of all things himself loved her, for she is privy of the mysteries of the knowledge of Elohim, and a lover of his works. If riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom, that works all things? And if prudence work, who of all that are is a more cunning workman than she? If a man loves righteousness, her labor are virtues, for she teaches temperance and prudence, justice and fortitude, which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable in their life. If a man desires such experience, she knows things of old and conjectures aright which is to come. She knows the subtleties of speeches and can expound dark sentences. She foresees signs and wonders and the events of seasons and times. Therefore I proposed to take her to me to live with me, knowing that she would be a counselor of good things and a comfort in cares and grief. For her sake I shall have estimation among the multitudes and honor with the elders. Though I be young, I shall be found of a quick conceit and judgment, and shall be admired in the sight of great men. When I hold my tongue, they shall bide my leisure, and when I speak, they shall give good ear unto me. If I talk much, they shall lay their hands upon their mouth. Moreover, by the means of her I shall obtain immortality, and leave behind me an everlasting memorial of them that come after me. I shall set the people in order, and the nations shall be subject unto me. Horrible tyrants shall be afraid when they do but hear of me. I shall be found good among the multitude, and valiant in war. After I am come into my house, I will repose myself of her, for her conversation has no bitterness, and to live with her has no sorrow, but mirth and joy. Now when I consider these things in myself, and ponder them in my heart, how that to be allied unto wisdom is immortality, and great pleasure it is to have her friendship, and in the works of her hands are infinite riches, and in the exercise of conference with her prudence, and in talking with her a good report. I went about seeking how to take her to me, for I was a witty child and had a good spirit. Yea, rather being good, I came into a body undefiled. Nevertheless, when I perceived that I could not otherwise obtain her, except Elohim gave her me, and that was a point of wisdom also, to know whose gift she was, I prayed unto Yahweh and besought him, and with my whole heart I said, O Elohim of my fathers, and Yahweh of mercy, who have made all things with your word, and obtained man through your wisdom, that which should have dominion over the creatures which you have made, and order the world according to equity and righteousness, and execute judgment with an upright heart. Give me wisdom that sits by your throne, and reject me not from among your children. For I am your servant and son of your handmaid, am a feeble person, and of a short time, and too young for the understanding of judgment and Torah. For though a man be never so perfect among the children of men, Yet if your wisdom be not with him, he shall be nothing regarded. You have chosen me to be a king of your people and a judge of your sons and daughters. You have commanded me to build a temple upon your holy mount, and an altar in the city wherein you dwell, a resemblance of the holy tabernacle, and you have prepared, which you have prepared from the beginning. And wisdom was with you, which knows your works, and was present when you made the world, and knew what was acceptable in your sight, and right in your commandments. O send her out of your holy heavens, and from the throne of your glory, that being present she may labor with me, that I may know what is pleasing unto you. For she knows and understands all things, and she shall lead me soberly in my doings, and preserve me in her power. So shall my works be acceptable, and then shall I judge your people righteously, and be worthy to sit in my Father's seat. For what man is he that can know the counsel of Elohim, or who can think of the will of Yahweh is? For the thoughts of mortal men are miserable, and our devices are but uncertain. For the corruptible body presses down the soul, and the earthly tabernacle weighs down the mind that muses upon many things. And hardly do we guess aright at things that are upon earth, and with labor do we find the things that are before us. But the things that are in heaven, who has searched out? And your counsel, who has known, except you give wisdom, and send your Holy Spirit from above? For so the ways of them which live on the earth were reformed. The men were taught the things that are pleasing unto you, and were saved through wisdom. She preserved the first formed father of the world, and was created alone, and brought him out of his fall, and gave him power to rule all things. But when the unrighteous went away from her in his anger, he perished also in the fury wherewith he murdered his brother. For whose cause the earth being drowned with the flood, wisdom again preserved it, and directed the course of the righteous in a piece of wood of small value. Moreover, the nations in their wicked conspiracy being confounded, she found out the righteous, and preserved him blameless unto Elohim, and kept him strong against his tender compassion towards his son. When the wicked perished, she delivered the righteous man, who fled from the fire which fell down upon the 5 cities, of which wickedness even to this day the wasteland that smokes is a testimony, and plants bearing fruit that never come to ripeness, and the standing pillar of salt is a monument of the unbelieving soul. For regarding not wisdom, they got not only this hurt, that they knew not the things which were good, but also left behind them to the world a memorial of their foolishness, so that in the things therein they offended they could not so much as be hidden. But wisdom delivered from pain those that attended upon her. When the righteous fled from his brother's wrath, she guided him in right paths, showed him the kingdom of Elohim, and gave him knowledge of holy things, made him rich in his travels, and multiplied the fruit of his labors. In the covetousness of such as oppressed him, she stood by him and made him rich. She defended him from his enemies, and kept him safe from those that lay in wait. And in a sore conflict she gave him the victory, that he might know that goodness is stronger than all. When the righteous was sold, she forsook him not, but delivered him from sin. She went down with him into the pit, and left him not in bonds, till she brought him the scepter of the kingdom. and power against those that oppressed him. And for them that had accursed him, she showed them to be liars and gave him perpetual glory. She delivered the righteous people and blameless seed of the nation that oppressed them. She entered into the soul of the servant of Yahweh and withstood dreadful kings and wonders and signs, rendered to the righteous a reward of their labors, guided them in a marvelous way, and was unto them for a cover by day and a light of stars in the night season, brought them through the Red Sea and led them through much water. But she drowned their enemies and cast them up out of the bottom of the deep. Therefore the righteous spoiled the wicked, and praised your holy name, O Yahweh, and magnified with one accord your hand that fought for them. For wisdom opened the mouth of the dumb, and made the tongues of them that cannot speak eloquent. She prospered their works in the hand of the holy prophet. They went through the wilderness that was not inhabited, and pitched tents in places where there lay no way. They stood against their enemies and were avenged of their adversaries. When they were thirsty, they called unto you, and water was given them out of the flinty rock, and their thirst was quenched out of the hard stone. For by what things their enemies were punished, by the same they in their need were benefited. For instead of a perpetual running river troubled with foul blood, for a manifest reproof of that commandment, whereby the infants were slain, you gave unto them abundance of water by a means which they hoped not for, declaring by that thirst then how you had punished their adversaries. For when they were tired, albeit but in mercy chastised, they knew how the wicked were judged in wrath and tormented, thirsting in another manner than the just. For these you did admonish and try, as a father, but the other as a severe king. You did condemn and punish, whether they were absent or present. They were vexed alike, for a double grief came upon them, and a groaning for the remembrance of things past. For when they heard by their own punishments the other to be benefited, they had some feelings of Yahweh, for whom they respected with scorn, when he was long before thrown out at the casting forth of the infants. Him in the end, when they saw what came to pass, they admired. But for the foolish devices of their wickedness, wherewith being deceived, they worshipped serpents void of reason, and vile beasts. You did send a multitude of unreasonable beasts upon them for vengeance, that they might know that wherewith a man sins, by the same also shall he be punished. For your almighty hand that made the world of matter without form wanted not means to send among them a multitude of bears or fierce lions, or unknown wild beast full of rage newly created, breathing out either a fiery vapor or filthy sense of shattered smoke, or shooting horrible sparks out of their eyes, whereof not only the harm might dispatch them at once, but also the terrible sight utterly destroy them. Yea, and without these might they have fallen down with one blast, being persecuted of vengeance, and scattered abroad to the breath of your power. But you have ordered all things in measure and number and weight, for you can show your great strength at all times when you will. And who may withstand the power of your arm? For the whole world before you is as a little grain of the balance. Yea, as a drop of the morning dew that falls down upon the earth. But you have mercy upon all, for you can do all things, and wink at the sins of men, because they should amend. For you love all the things that are, and abhor nothing which you have made. For never would you have made anything if you had hated it. And how could anything endure if it had not been your will, or been preserved, if not called by you? But you spare all, for they are yours, O Yahweh, lover of souls. For your incorruptible spirit is in all things. Therefore chasten them by little and little that offend, and warn them by putting them in remembrance therein they have offended, that leaving their wickedness they may believe on you, O Yahweh. For it was your will to destroy by the hands of your fathers both those old inhabitants of your holy land, whom you hated for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh, and the feast of blood, with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed their own hands, souls destitute of help, that the land which you esteemed above all other might receive a worthy colony of Elohim's children. Nevertheless, even those you spared as men, and did send wasp forerunnings of your host to destroy them by little and little. Not that you were unable to bring the wicked under the hand of the righteous in battle, or to destroy them at once with cruel beast, or with one rough word, but executing your judgments upon them by little and little, you gave them place of repentance, not being ignorant that they were a haughty generation, and that their malice was bred in them, and that their contagious would never be changed. For it was a cursed seed from the beginning, neither did you for fear of any man give them pardon for those things wherein they sinned. For who shall say, what have you done? Or who shall withstand your judgment? Or who shall accurse you for the nations that perish, whom you made? Or who shall come to stand against you, to be vengeanced for the unrighteous men? For neither is there any Elohim but you that cares for all, to whom you might show that your judgment is not aright. Neither shall king or tyrant be able to set his face against you for any whom you have punished. For so much then as you are righteous yourself, you order all things righteously, thinking it not agreeable with your power to condemn him that has not deserved to be punished. For your power in the beginning of righteousness, and because you are Yahweh of all, it makes you to be gracious unto all. For when men will not believe that you are a full power, you show your strength, and among them that know it, you make their boldness manifest. But you, mastering your power, judge with equity and order us with great favor. For you may use power when you will, but by such works you have taught your people that the just man should be merciful, and have made your children to be a good hope that you give repentance for sins. For if you did punish the enemies of your children, and the condemned to death, with such deliberation, giving them time and place whereby they might be delivered from their malice, with how great circumspection did you judge your own sons, unto whose fathers you have sworn, and made covenants of good promises. Therefore, whereas you do chasten us, You scourge our enemies 1,000 times more, to the intent that when we judge, we should carefully think of your goodness, and when ourselves are judged, we should look for mercy. Therefore, whereas men have lived dissolutely and unrighteously, and have tormented them with their own abominations, for they went astray very far in the ways of error, and held them for Elohim, which even among the beasts of their enemies were despised, being deceived as children of no understanding. Therefore unto them, as to children without the use of reason, you did send a judgment to mock them. But they that would not be reformed by that correction wherein he dallied with them, shall feel a judgment worthy of Elohim. For look for what things they grudged when they were punished, that is, for them whom they sought to be Elohim. Now being punished in them, when they saw it, they acknowledged him to be the true Elohim, whom before they denied knowing, and therefore came extreme damnation upon them. I think we'll stop with that one. That was the end of chapter 12. So tomorrow I will try to finish chapters 13 through 19. But I hope y'all enjoy that, and we'll get back together tomorrow. Hope everybody has a good day or good night, and I'll see y'all.